Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us today about Introduction to Padlet. Hopefully, you've already gone to padlet.com and created your user account so that you have a page similar to mine on your screen right now. So, what I'd like to do is just to show you very quickly at the top here in this green button. What you'll see is a gallery, and this gallery are other people's Padlets that they've created. So Padlets are like a whiteboard or a corkboard where you can put information up. I use it for classroom instruction, and I also use it quite heavily for project team discussions. So if you have a moment, go through these, take a look around. You might get inspired to do and use Padlet in different ways after reviewing all these different kinds. Um, but what I'd like to show you before I jump into creating a Padlet is a Padlet that we already created earlier. This one in particular was with some students, and it was all about oranges. So here we have what its name is, Made with a Sweet Tooth. I started by putting up a note about reading from the World Wide Web. So here's a link to some content that I wanted the students to read, and they could comment on it at the bottom. Then we went through and we looked at what kind of oranges they ate and maybe the regions that the oranges came from. What we did next as a class was we watched a video. So I asked them to click on this video, which I also selected and added to the board. And the next thing we did was we looked at the nutritional value. Now, oranges have vitamin C, but there's more than that, right? And as a class, we decided to get a little quirky and we looked at movies that had oranges related to it. So, what I did here was I can't show you the student work itself, but students went in and they added comments to each of these. There's a grading feature here, so I would give students grades as they went through. And because Padlet only has 3 Padlets for a free account, I then shared this out as a PDF by printing it to myself. When I shared it to students, I copied the link and I sent it to them. But if I saved as a PDF, what it did was it allowed me to go ahead and export it. So here's what it looks like when it exports. Here's the PDF of my Padlet. If my student comments were in here, it would appear all in here too. Okay. So let's create a Padlet. Start all over from the beginning. So we'll jump back over to that tab. I'm going to click on Make a Padlet here and click on the wall, which is the first one. You'll notice there were 8 different ones. But here's the start of the Padlet. It will automatically choose for you some background and some designs and a name. But over here on the side is where you can change all the different features. If it goes away, don't worry. Click on the little gear icon at the top and it'll come back again. So I'm just going to call this apples. And there's all different kinds of things that you can do to this. You can change the description. You can choose an icon if you'd like. I happen to know that there's apples in here, so I'll choose that. Here's something that I always change, and that is the series of letters and numbers can be changed to something more easily rememberable. So I change that to apples. You can play with wallpaper, colors, and fonts, but I really want you to look at these attributes down here. I do want names to appear. I would like it to go from last to first. I would like comments to be accessible for all of the users of my particular Padlet. And I would like to turn on reactions. Earlier was a grade. Maybe I'll do stars. You don't have to use it, but you can. That option is there. But the last two, if you have sensitive comments, topics, or even are working with really young children, you might want to consider using the approval process where you moderate what appears on your particular Padlet, and you might want to consider the filtering with the profanity. So I'm going to hit save here, and I'm going to close, and I'm going to start using my Padlet. Double click anywhere, and you can start adding things. Now I can write directions here to the students, and then I can add particular features. So if I click on this, here are all the different things you can do. If I want to record something that I want them to hear back of me, I can do that. But here I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to search for an image, and I'm going to just start off with that one. I'm going to do a second one, and I'm going to do, oops, I can't spell, varieties. And what I'll do here is I'm going to add, that's still misspelled, but that's okay. I'll fix that later. I can add a web page or I can add a video. Really different ways you can do that, and then you can share. Have fun.